Hello, this is Pastor Nathan with Bible Stories for Kids, and today we're going to look at the story where Jesus gives us and commands us to do communion, or the Lord's Supper. It's where in church we'll take, normally when we're not in COVID, we'll take the trays of little bread crackers and pass them around, and people will take one, and with that we're remembering that Jesus' body was broken, he was beaten, he was bruised, he was hurt, he was crucified, and on our behalf, even though he didn't do anything wrong, even though he didn't sin, he was broken for our sakes. And then we'll also pass around the little tray that has like a bunch of tiny little cups. I always thought those were cool. I had a hard time learning how to twist and get them out without like spilling grape juice everywhere. Once you're able to do that and talk with your parents about taking communion, but they can show you how to wiggle the cups out without spilling it everywhere. But that's communion. And so here in our story today, Jesus he's celebrating the Passover with the disciples, remembering what God had done in saving the Israelites in Egypt from the Egyptian slavery. And he's going to celebrate that with his disciples now in our story and command them to do something special to remember him. And that's where we get the practice of communion, where here at Bethel we do it on the first Sunday of each month. Some churches do it more often, but it's something we do regularly to remember what Jesus did, his sacrifice on the cross, and that God is faithful to his promises as a whole. And so we'll read that and get into that story right now. So Luke chapter 22, starting in verse 14. When the hour came, Jesus and his apostles took their places at the table. He said to them, I have really looked forward to eating this Passover meal with you. I wanted to do this before I suffer. I tell you, I will not eat the Passover meal again until it's celebrated in God's kingdom. After Jesus took the cup, he gave thanks. He said, "Take this cup and share it among yourselves. I tell you, I will not drink wine with you again until God's kingdom comes." Then Jesus took bread. He gave thanks and broke it. He handed it to them and said, "This is my body. It is given for you. Every time you eat of it, do this in memory of me." In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup. He said, "This is the cup of the new covenant," not the old covenant like in Old Testament with Moses, but a new covenant. "In my blood, it is poured out for you. But someone here is going to hand me over to my enemies. His hand is with mine at the table. The Son of Man will go to his death just as God has already decided. But how terrible it will be for the one who hands him over." The apostles began to ask one another about this. They wondered which one of them would do it. So Jesus tells the disciples to remember what he's going to do, that he's going to die on the cross for them and for us, for the whole world, and to take our penalty, to take our sin on himself. And he also tells them that one of them is going to betray him, and they don't know who it is. But remember, a couple weeks ago, we went over the story where Judas goes to the chief priests and scribes, and they give him money to betray Jesus. So Judas is there, and he knows he's going to be the one to betray Jesus. And Jesus knows it's Judas. So even while it's this really special meal, there's kind of a sadness to it as well, as Jesus knows that one of his friends is going to betray him, and he knows that the crucifixion is coming, but he's willing to do it anyway. So whenever we celebrate communion here at church, remember what the story teaches us. Remember that we're remembering the promises all the way back from Passover in Egypt, where God saved the Israelites from Egypt, and that we're remembering what Jesus did on the cross, and that he is faithful to his promises there. So have a fantastic week, and I'll see y'all next time. God bless.